Hi guys, I'm Margaret Anne Florence. I play Aunt Jess on Terrifier 3, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So I am so excited to be joined by today's guests. Today we're going to be talking all things Terrifier 3 with Jessica herself, Margaret Anne Florence. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Margaret Anne.
Thank you very much for having me.
You are very welcome. So yeah, I mean we're right in the heart of things. Spooky season is here, Terrifier 3 coming out. A lot of people in the horror community are excited. Before we jump into, the Terrifier questions, I just wanted to kind of start off though by asking you, where did your love from film just kind of come from, initially?
Well, I started out performing when I was little, actually, mainly doing musical theater. Singing, dancing, acting was always part of my thing. And then really, it was not till I finished graduate school that I really started getting into auditioning for film and working in film. But I just love it because it's like, it's a complete story versus, I guess, television or things where things sort of roll on. I like that you have kind of the full arc and idea of the character. So I feel like that makes it really fun. And it's just, it's so collaborative and people love film. Like if it's something people love and people talk about and people share with each other. So I love that about it. I love doing films.
And you get to pretend to be, someone else for, however long you guys end up shooting for a film too. So I imagine that's always obviously a lot of fun too.
Yes, it is. And I've truly made some of my best friends, in films that I've done and we're still all close. Films that I did, 10, 15 years ago, we're all really close friends still. And so you build like a little family, no matter if it's some shoots are short, it's like a 2 week or 3 week shoot, and some you're on there for months, but it's amazing how fast you form those friendships and relationships, when you're thrown into that situation together, basically
Yeah.
as strangers.
And so when the opportunity presented itself to get to work on Terrifier 3, what had you most excited about coming in to work on this project and then just, get to play this character as well?
Well, I'm pretty afraid of horror movies. So when this came up, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay, but what does my character have to do in this movie? So I made sure I read the script before anything else, but I knew that it was like had this real cult following. And a funny thing was I had gotten the audition and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to do this thing. And I went out to dinner and ran into a girl that I know, and she had some teenage daughters, and they were like, "Oh, what are you working on?" And I was like, "Well, I might be, going to do this horror movie." And they're like, "Oh, what's it called?" And I said it's called Terrifier and Terrifier 3. And they were like, "You're in Terrifier?" And I was like, "Okay, now I know that this is the job I should do because these girls knew exactly what it was and were like flipping out about it." So I was
Yeah.
like, "Great." But I've never done really a true horror movie in this genre. So that was a cool experience. And I mean, Damien, the director, is such a great guy. And he's really putting his literal every minute of his life into this movie and making these movies. And I think he really does that as a reaction to the fan base and people that love these films, and he loves making them. So
Yeah.
that's in any project to work with somebody that's so passionate about what they're doing.
It kind of started off as like this little indie thing and it's like really grown into, I mean, now this, this franchise that so many fans, I go to like the Comic Cons throughout the year. And like this year I got to see a couple people from Terrifier at some of those, and they always have pretty, long lines as far as people wanting to meet him dressed up as Art the Clown, the little pale girl and stuff like that. And then like
Yeah.
even at the Halloween stores, you go there and like the animatronics have been like sold out for a while and the costumes and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely got a pretty passionate fan base. So yeah, I'm not surprised that, you said those girls, they recognized instantly what it was from.
Yeah, they were like freaking out. So it's awesome. That reminds me, I need to get like an Art the Clown Halloween decoration for my house. I haven't gotten that far yet. But I'm
There you
like, I
go.
have to have something in my yard or something.
Although, yeah, and so you mentioned like, yeah, you're not, this is kind of your first experience like working on anything like horror? I was going to ask you that. What was going into this? What was your relationship with horror? But like you said, it sounds like not exactly. You said you get scared kind of like easily by these like films and not.
I know. Well, I generally just like to watch something non confrontational and kind of zone out into something cheerful mainly. Not all, I mean, I love dramas and things too. I shouldn't say that. But no, I'm honestly pretty nervous to see the movie in person. I've seen, obviously I know what happens in my scenes, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen, and I've seen like a snip of some other scenes that I wasn't in, but I haven't seen the whole thing yet. And I'm really nervous, but I think it's going to be an amazing experience, to sit with people. I'm sure a lot of fans will be there, obviously,
Oh, for
next week
sure.
for the premiere. So that'll be
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, I
but I'm a
remember
little
seeing
bit,
because I didn't get to see part one in theaters because I think that if it had like it was like a really like limited release and like I'm in New Hampshire and so sometimes like even the one theater that I go to in Mass, it's like a half an hour drive. Like sometimes if that one doesn't get it, then it's like closest one is like sometimes like New York or something like that. I'm like, all right, well, I might have to wait, for it to come out. But two came in theaters around me and I just remember the experience of seeing that, especially like the bedroom scene and just the people around us and people cringing and just like the reaction to it. So and I've heard there's some stuff here in part three that I think is going to really get under people's like skin as well. So I mean obviously can't wait to have that experience in the theater again with a bunch of people.
yes, yes. From what I'm hearing, it's been an intense experience for people to watch. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm excited and also very nervous.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wish you the best of luck when you get to, watch it. Hopefully you're good, once you're done. What can you tell us about, your character, Jessica, and what did you kind of do to, build out the character for the film?
Well, so I'm playing Jessica, who's Sienna's aunt, who she comes to live with me and my family around Christmas time. And I really just, it's that instinct of a family member taking care of another family member. But also, even though she's my niece, but it's a little bit of like a mother-daughter. I think you're always, I feel like Aunt Jess is always caring for people in that way. And I just felt like that sense of protection and trying to do what's right for everybody, trying to also make everybody happy. It's the holidays, all those instincts sort of kick in. I mean, I am a mother, I do have children. So, those things always sort of help you out with those kind of roles. But Lauren's amazing and working with her was wonderful and, very easy to sort of step into our roles. I think it was a great fit for us. And so it was really
I
good.
actually just had recently too going to be releasing it soon as I just spoke to Antonella recently as well so
Yes,
she had
she's
a lot of
so
fun so it's
sweet.
pretty much had and I had it was a couple years ago it was like before the second one came out I had Lauren on like here on for an interview as well and I've gotten to meet her a couple times in person and yeah she's just like one of the coolest people that I've gotten to meet as far as like actors and stuff go like in person just super
Yeah.
nice down to earth so I imagine yeah that must have been I'm sure she probably welcomed you guys into
Oh
the
yeah.
Terrifier family.
Yeah, yeah. She was awesome and like you said, Antonella and Bryce that played my husband, like we were just like a quick family. Like it was, we weren't together that long, but we all just flowed really well together and I feel like fulfilled our roles in the film and
It's
I
always
think Damien was trying to create, sort of some character build out and emotional depth
yeah.
in there along with all the all the scary
Craziness.
things that are happening. So I think he was really trying to strike that balance. And I feel like hopefully, we did that as our sort of family unit in the film.
Yeah, and it's always good, obviously, when you guys have kind of that instant, chemistry when you're working together. So I can't wait to see that dynamic play out on the film. So I mean, you're kind of talking about before, you like to watch movies that kind of put you in a good mood or like easy to like relax to. I mean, you have a Christmas horror movie. So on the one hand, you have the time of year where for a lot of people. It's, supposed to be one of the happier times of the year. You have the decorations, you have the Christmas music and all that stuff. But then you have Art the Clown terrorizing you guys. What was that contrasting experience like for you?
Well, it's I mean it's sort of sad. I mean really when you're in, some of those scenes and this family is obviously supposed to be enjoying this time of year and then maybe things don't go as we'd hoped and it is it's I mean it's a hard time of year for a lot of people, but I
Yeah.
think that sort of adds to the conflict and the sort of emotional, I guess, pain and struggle in this movie is, I think Sienna's trying to get her life back together, trying to seek this emotional normalcy and family normalcy. And when you think about the holidays and a home, and, that's all sort of the picture that we're creating. And um, so.
And it's hard when you've been through like what she went through and, part two, an experience like that. It's like, obviously, I'm sure it's kind of hard to get back to a somewhat normal life, after that.
Right, right. And I think, the movie does definitely deal with that and, sort of your post-traumatic stress feelings and all that Lauren's character goes through and how our family is sort of trying to help her move through that as well. That's,
And I've
been
seen like early reviews from the film from people like Fantastic Fest and stuff like that. People saying that Lauren's performance, once again in the film is top notch. So getting to work with that kind of material, I'm really excited to see her, play with that stuff. As far as I guess like on the happier side, as far as like the decorations and stuff, how how was that just kind of being in that Christmas setting in general before everything kind of goes into chaos? Because it looks from like watching the trailer and stuff, it has like kind of that vintage 80s
yes,
80s-ish feel, like Christmas feel to it. So what was it like
yes,
kind of just being on those sets?
totally. Yeah, totally. It's got like the big, big colored bulbs like running down the staircase. And yeah, it definitely feels like that quintessential, like homey Christmas. Yeah, you're right. Kind of 80s, like family vibe in there. And definitely Aunt Jess she's striving to do all the Christmas things and make the cookies and, make it all perfect for everybody, which I think only adds to, the fact that maybe things aren't going to be so perfect. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was very cool. I mean, we had amazing like set designers and everybody working on the film really did so much to like create that atmosphere and the house that we shot in and everything just sort of added to the whole vibe. So
It kind
it was,
of definitely lures you into a false sense of security. I think, but it's like, oh, it's Christmas time, it's nice, and then yeah, and then we know what's going to happen, right around the corner. So, you talked about like working with like Lauren a little bit, but what about even just like David Howard Thornton, even though he's playing Art, but him returning to this film, Elliot returning to this film, just overall, what was it like working with all those guys and just like having them? Did they do anything to kind of welcome some of the newer castmates like into this film or?
I mean, everybody's just so like sweet and chill. And I mean, David's awesome. And also Samantha, that plays Victoria. Um, she's just great. You come in, it's crazy because you show up on set and like maybe the first time you meet somebody, they're like covered in all these prosthetics or blood, or you're like, what do you
Who
actually
are you?
look like? I don't know, but it's nice to meet you. And they're really friendly, but they look really scary. But, and you sort of have to like, you kind of let that go after, a little bit. You're like, okay, there is a person in there. But
It's always it's
it's
always kind
pretty,
of funny when you have like, for example, like David, where, he's playing this killer clown but then I've heard nothing but,
oh my
I've gotten
gosh.
to meet him at a con, heard nothing but like, great things about the guy. He's super nice. So it's just always kind of weird when you have this like really evil character, but then you just have like the nicest person playing that
Yeah.
character underneath all the makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, just the most like mild mannered, like kindest guy you would want to talk to. Just very sweet. I mean, everybody was just, super welcoming and everybody's just happy to be there working and but I mean, some of them you know, they're covered in this makeup and these prosthetics and stuff for hours and hours. And I mean, they have to
Yeah.
be there hours ahead of you to get into all that. And just the like stamina that they have to have as actors and, you know, to stay present and be with you on set and go through everything. I mean, it's a lot for
Yeah.
them. So, I mean, I'm just really grateful that they were all great people that, you know, kept powering through the day and
Yeah.
everything they had to do because it's a lot.
I think at this point too, like, some of them working together on several films that just kind of they're kind of like their own, second family. But yeah, no, I know like the prosthetics and stuff like that. Some of that can be like very heavy and it just like, clinging to your skin. So being in that for, 12 hours or whatever it is for like a day for a shoot, it's like, yeah, I'm sure at the end of the day, you're probably like, all right, I just want to go to bed.
It's a lot, I know, but they were amazing. They were amazing. All you can do is laugh through it sometimes. You know, you're like trying
Yeah.
to do a scene and there's like an eyeball falling out or like things are happening. You're like, all right, let's just try it again. Let's try
Yeah.
it
Right.
again.
And
So
Damien Leone, he's created this whole world. He's directed, written, he's done the effects for, the films with his team. Um, what was it like working with him, but also what makes him stand out as a director for you, because you've worked with a number of directors in your career like already so far.
he, I mean, super passionate, obviously. You know, he's got his hands in every piece of the work. You know, we're shooting, he's directing, he's editing, like sometimes on set as we're shooting, and he knows as far as a director, like one of the more unique things I think was he just knew like every shot, really what he wanted it to be and how it was going to edit together. So he'd be like, "Don't worry about this. I'm going to edit it this way. Or don't worry about that. I'm going to cut to this." And like he knew exactly how he wanted it to go. So which was great for actors because you're like, okay, like I know that he's taking care of that part and I don't have to try and make something else happen, maybe or maybe not that they're going to use. So
Yeah.
that was really cool just to see him kind of manage it in that way and know exactly what he wanted. So, but like super nice. I mean, talk about somebody that should be tired. Like he was
Yeah.
working. I don't know when he was sleeping exactly, but he was working around the clock, but like always super happy to see everybody and grateful that everybody was there and so kind. And um, he just he just cared for all of us like in a great way. And I think that's, you know, obviously why people like to work with him and why so many of these people have, you know, worked on the first two films and are working on the third film, you know.
Yeah.
You
Just a
don't
great
want to go
environment.
back somewhere that's not good.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think that says all, you know, it can about him and the production that he's doing. And you know, it's
Yeah.
crazy and it's chaos and things go wrong and you know, you're on a tight schedule and a budget and all that. But you know, at the end of the day, if you're a good guy and a good director and people will keep coming back for that.
It'll work out. Yeah, and like you said, I don't know when he does, sleep because between doing the different cons, I know they just announced, they're gonna, I guess, be doing like a Terrifier 4 as well. So I'm sure he's probably getting, doing all the press and stuff like that for Terrifier 3, but I'm sure he's jumping right into 4 if he hasn't already working on that. So it's like, yeah, I mean, the past like several years, it's just been, I'm sure, like nonstop stop for the
Yeah,
guys. So definitely got to give it up to him and his work ethic, just like overall.
totally. Yeah, it's amazing.
And I feel like this question, just because we said that, you're scared easily with, this kind of stuff like horror films and stuff like that. What makes art so scary for you, like personally?
I think it is that and maybe that's sort of part of David too, like there's something about him that seems like it's nice, that's like almost gonna be nice, and
Nope.
then what? Like, no, it's like, it's very disarming, I guess, to like,
Yeah.
because he's not well, his teeth, I guess, are scary looking. I don't know. There's something about him to me that's not super scary looking exactly until he starts to, you know,
Go after
do
people.
does right
Yeah.
exactly. So I think that's a little like disarming. I mean, people have a real, you know, clown phobia. I do not have that. That is not something that
That's
scares
good.
me. So no, I don't have that. Um, but yeah, I just think you don't know what he's gonna do and like what he's thinking. Like
Yeah.
you can tell he's doing so much. There's so much going on mentally, I
Mm.
think, that character. more than just like, it's, it's what's going on inside that's scarier sometimes than what's
Yeah,
going on.
he definitely I mean he toys with his victims for sure. And just the level of emotion that he's able to convey for a character too that doesn't say anything. I
Yeah.
mean that takes a lot of, skill as an actor and performer. And I think for me, it kind of ties in like what you were saying is that for me it's just the fact that if Art's coming after you and he ends up like killing you, it's not just going to be a quick death. Like
No.
it's something that it goes on for like minutes and whatever, and it's just like just put me out of my misery if you're going to do it.
Right.
But
No, it's
like,
the torture part. That's
yeah,
the
that's the thing that freaks me out. I think a little bit with him. It's like I wouldn't want to run into him in like a dark alley or something like that.
No, it's not gonna go well. It's not.
What are what just in general, I guess, like what are some of your favorite memories from getting to work on this, the set in this film, just like overall?
Um, I think really it was like I said, just being, I mean, basically all of my scenes we were shot in the house, in the Christmas family house. So just sort of building that family with
Yeah,
with those with those other, cast members. And um I mean it was great. But it was just a joy to come to work and
are
do
you
the
guys
thing. It
gonna
just felt
you guys
good.
gonna share like any exchange like any Christmas presents when once it comes time for the holidays to be like, all right, well,
Maybe
that,
so. Maybe so. We're very excited to see each other. I think
yeah,
pretty much going to see everybody for the premiere in New York next week. So
yeah,
that's
that'll
going to
be
be nice
exciting.
to reconnect. And yeah, I just did had a little catch up with Bryce that played my husband. So
Awesome.
he's great. But we're all, kind of texting and things, and
Yeah,
obviously like sending stuff through Instagram and posting and reposting and supporting each other that way. So
yeah.
it's nice.
It's almost here. I mean, it's just about to hit theaters and in the next like couple weeks. So and then then it's out there for the whole world to experience. We've kind of talked about the franchise. It's become like I'd say one of the most like popular modern horror franchises today. So what does that mean to you, as an actor, just getting to be a part of a franchise with such passionate fans overall?
I'm like super excited about it. Like I said, this is really sort of my first, time in this genre, which I feel it's a pretty like specific thing, and it's got its specific fans. And so I'm kind of excited to see that because I really haven't been a part of something that's sort of been that specific in its fan base and its groups of people. And I think it's going to be really cool. So I'm very excited to have something different in my on my resume, and
Yeah,
also just a different experience with like the film community and who's seeing it and what they think of it. And it's awesome to have people that are so passionate about it. And and I see the people with like Art the Clown tattoos on their arms. I'm like, wow. And like that is a level of
dedication.
fandom.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, if you get the chance to like, like once the film comes out and stuff like that, because like I said, I've seen a number of the Terrifier, community at these different conventions. So I mean, maybe down the road, if that's something that you're interested in, you'll get to do some of these cons and you'll see a ton
Yeah.
of these people at those, and it's just a lot of fun getting to, hear people's stories and just seeing the different like the cosplay, the amount of work that goes into some of those things. And then once the film hits, like I'm sure you'll probably get tagged and stuff on Instagram for like, fan art and stuff like that as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, yes. I mean, I'm planning hopefully to, yeah, start doing some of the cons and meeting people and seeing everybody out there. But I hear it's a great experience, so I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yep. For sure. And what just I guess just what else can fans, look forward to and expect without, obviously giving away like any spoilers, but just in general from Terrifier 3 overall.
Well, I think it's going to be obviously really bloody, really bloody. But I think it's a really good script. Like I wouldn't, like I said, I was like, can I see the script before I sign on to this
Yeah.
project? But I think it's a really good script, and it's really well written, and I think the story really comes through. And I think it's got a lot more, depth and character development and things that, you're not just there for the big kills, but you're
Yeah.
also there for the characters. I mean, that's only going to make you care about what's happening more. So I hope people really take that away from it and, enjoy all the work that everybody puts in, even though if you're just hacking people up, you're still, there's still a lot going on behind it and a lot to your character and a lot that, leads people to these points where things go wrong. So, yeah, I hope people just enjoyed the movie, the story,
Yeah.
regardless.
I think they will. And last I looked, I mean, I haven't looked the past couple of days, but I thought last I looked at on like Rotten Tomatoes, it had like a 92 or something like that, which
Yeah,
pretty, pretty high for like a horror film. So that's, exciting to see and can't wait to, more people. You got the premiere with like New York, coming up and stuff like that. And then like afterwards, then everyone else will get to see it. And just to wrap things up, is there anything else that you would like to say, overall, Margaret Ann, and where can fans stay up to date with your work moving forward in the future?
fans can pretty much find me best on my Instagram, which is at Margaret Anne Florence. It's Anne with an E. And I'm just looking at some new projects now, so hopefully something else will be on the horizon soon. But I'm just super excited for this film to come out and for people to see it. I know a lot of people are
Oh
dying.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the experience. And like you said, I hope I'm going to get out there and be able to meet some fans in person and see what it's all about. But it's pretty awesome.
And
So thank
hopefully
you.
we get to maybe see you in some more horror films, down the line too. I know you said this was your first one. Maybe we see you pop up in some more.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Well, thank you. I just want to say thank you so much, Margaret Ann, for coming on here, talking about the film and just, your love for film like overall. It was wonderful getting to chat with you, and you're welcome back anytime in the future.
Thank you so much, Pat. I appreciate you having me. Thanks. Hi, guys. I'm Margaret Anne Florence. I play Aunt Jess on Terrifier 3, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.